Welcome back to the second episode of our Tugboat building vlog. We ended the last episode by gluing in this understructure into the hull. And maybe you remember in the pack that came from China, there were two transparent tubes included, and I had no idea what they were good for. Turns out when we take a closer look at the hull, this structure here is the mount for the steering servo, whereas the rudder shaft is at the very back. And now you need to insert these two transparent tubes in order to put through some steering rods or push rods to actually control the rudder. This is quite some adventurous construction. I don't know whether it's gonna work, but I guess this will be our next step in this build. So I got myself a standard mini servo, which will fit right here. I've got some wire. I guess I'll need to experiment a little, and we will be building the rudder and check whether it works, because once we close the deck and the sidings, you'll never be able to reach these tubes again. So let's fingers crossed that it works. We will start off by building the rudder. For this, we need these brass parts along with the rudder shaft. I guess in this package you will have some bushings that go onto the rudder shaft, and I guess we will have to solder it. I tried to build the rudder. I tried to do that by soldering this brass shaft with two very thin brass metal sheets. Unfortunately, I couldn't produce enough heat to actually get them to stick together. That's why I tried to do that now with 2 parts epoxy glue. So I put that aside and let it dry. So I thought I might give you an update on how I intend to connect the servo and the rudder. I've tried many different kinds of wire, and it's been a hell of a struggle to get these into the tubes, and then once they were in, well, you needed too much force to move them, so I thought the small servo is never gonna be able to do that. And the solution I came up with now is I've got this kind of cable. It's not a wire, it's much softer, and yeah, as you can see, this moves really well and freely, and I think this might actually work. Before I install the rudder in its place, I can show you it's all held together by this tiny part here. But before I do this and install the rudder, I need to install the prop shaft. And this means we'll need to install the motor at the same time. Now let's take a look at the parts that we will be needing for this job. So first of all, we've got the motor. We've got a brass motor mount. You need to fold that one. We've got 4 mounting screws to attach the motor mount to the hull. And we've got 2 very tiny screws that will install or fix the motor to the mount here. Then of course we have the prop shaft. You need to grease that one up so no water gets inside and it runs smoothly. And finally we've got a small bag with a coupling in order to connect the motor shaft here with the prop shaft, actually the other way around, like this. So I wanted to give you a quick update on where I stand now. I've installed the motor, I've installed the coupling that links the motor to the prop shaft. And as you can see, I've also soldered in some resistors for interference suppression. Now would be the moment to install the rudder here. The problem is that before I do this, I would have to mount the prop. And now comes the bad part. This is the prop. As you can see, it's all dirty, and this is because these resin parts, I guess they're 3D printed, did not fully cure, so they're quite sticky and soft. And this has been the problem with all the parts that are in this bag here. They're very, very soft, not fully cured. So I've been contacting the manufacturer. I'll let you know if I can get my hand on some spare parts. But I've got some good news for the end of this episode. So what you can see here are the instructions I got from the seller. It's in Chinese for the most part, but with a lot of pictures, and it helps a lot in the build. That's it for this second episode of my building vlog. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up and of course subscribe to the channel so you get notified for the next episode coming up. Thanks for watching and goodbye.